What if the scariest place on earth is not failure, rejection, poverty, or pain, but the moment you finally stand still long enough to face yourself without excuses? Most people are not afraid of hard work. They are afraid of the truth that hard work reveals. The mirror is terrifying because it does not care about your potential, your intentions, your sad story, or the image you sell to the world. It only shows what is real: your habits, your discipline, your patterns, your weakness, your fake promises, your hidden laziness, your addiction to comfort. Brutal self-confrontation is where transformation begins, because you cannot fix a life you are still pretending to understand. That is why so many people stay busy. They scroll, talk, blame, chase noise, and drown in distractions, because silence forces a meeting with the person they have become. And sometimes that meeting is ugly. Sometimes you realize you are not tired, you are undisciplined. You are not unlucky, you are inconsistent. You are not misunderstood, you have been hiding. That realization can crush a weak mind, but it can also create a monster. Because once you finally tell yourself the truth, you stop guessing about what is broken and start attacking it with precision. What if the chains around your life were not placed there by your past, your family, your enemies, or your circumstances, but by the excuses you repeat so often that they now sound like facts? That thought is violent because it removes the comfort of blame. It means nobody is coming to rescue your standards. Nobody is coming to drag discipline into your room, into your schedule, into your habits. Total ownership is brutal because it forces you to admit that while life may have hurt you, you are still responsible for what happens next. Most people never reach power because they stay loyal to explanation instead of execution. They can explain why they are behind, why they are hurting, why they lost, why they stopped, why they drifted. But explanations do not build strength. Ownership does. Ownership says, maybe I was hit, maybe I was doubted, maybe I was neglected, but I still have to carry this body, this mind, this life. That is where the energy changes. The victim waits. The owner builds, the victim points outward, the owner points inward. And the shocking truth is this: the day you stop blaming is the day your life becomes dangerous, because now all your energy returns to the one place where change can actually happen. What if the exact pain you have been running from is the only doorway to the strongest version of yourself? That sounds cruel until you understand what pain really does. Pain does not politely ask who you say you are. It exposes who you are when comfort is stripped away. It reveals whether your confidence survives pressure or whether it was just makeup on fear. Most people think pain is a warning to stop, but pain is often a signal that growth has finally started. The burn in your lungs, the rejection in your chest, the humiliation after failure, the emptiness of being alone with no applause, these are not always signs that you are dying. Sometimes they are signs that the weaker version of you is. That is why pain matters. It kills illusion. It crushes fantasy. It tears down the fake identity built on easy conditions. The shocking thing is that comfort has probably damaged more dreams than suffering ever did, because comfort keeps you soft enough to stay average. Pain, when used correctly, hardens your standards and deepens your endurance. If you learn to stop asking, how do I avoid this? And start asking, what can this build inside me? Then suffering stops being your prison and starts becoming your forge. What if your future is not being decided in public moments of motivation, but in the lonely, invisible hours when nobody is watching and nobody would know if you gave up? That is where discipline separates the dangerous from the dreamers. Motivation is loud, emotional, and temporary. It shows up when the video is inspiring, when the music hits, when the mood feels strong. But discipline is different. Discipline is cold. Discipline is repetitive. Discipline is often boring. That is why almost nobody masters it. People want change with adrenaline, but real change is built in monotony. It is built in the extra rep after your mind checks out. It is built in the early alarm when the room is dark and your excuses sound wise. It is built when nobody is clapping, liking, praising, or rewarding you. The shocking truth is that your life is not shaped by your biggest promises. It is shaped by your smallest repeated actions. Every private decision is casting a vote. Either you are training your mind to trust you or you are training it to laugh at your words. Once your mind learns that you do what you say, even in silence, a terrifying kind of confidence begins to form because now your standards are no longer based on emotion, they are based on proof. What if the most dangerous enemy in your life is not outside you, but the voice inside you that sounds reasonable while slowly destroying your standards? That voice is clever. It does not scream weakness. It whispers logic. It says, rest today, start tomorrow. It says, you've already done enough. It says, this pain is too much. It says, you deserve to take it easy. And little by little, that voice teaches you how to negotiate with your own greatness. Most people do not collapse in one dramatic moment. They erode through daily conversations with weakness. They make one deal, then another, until the disciplined person they wanted to become has been traded away for comfort. Killing that voice does not mean becoming emotionless. It means learning that feelings can speak, but they do not get final authority. Your mind will panic, bargain, complain, exaggerate, and try to protect you from every hard thing that could make you stronger. If you obey it every time, you become fragile. If you hear it and move anyway, you become forged. The shocking reality is that mastery often begins the moment you stop debating with discomfort and start giving your life orders instead of asking your moods for permission. What if confidence is not something you think yourself into, but something you earn through repeated evidence that you can survive what once made you fold? This is where identity changes. Most people say they want to become stronger, but they keep acting like the same person. They wait for a new mindset without building new proof. But identity is not built with quotes, wishes, or hype. It is built through receipts, cold receipts, honest receipts, private receipts. Every time you keep going when quitting is easier, you leave evidence. Every time you tell the truth about your weakness and attack it, you leave evidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself under pressure, you leave evidence. And your brain records all of it. It learns what kind of person you are. That is why quitting is dangerous. Not just because you stop a task, but because you teach your nervous system a pattern. You teach it, this is what we do when life gets hard. But when you endure, you teach a different lesson. You teach your mind, we do not run, we adapt, we finish. The shocking power of this is that eventually toughness stops being something you perform for a moment and becomes who you are under all conditions. What if this is the moment your life changes? Not because you found another motivational speech, not because somebody saved you, not because the world finally became fair, but because you finally stopped running from the person in the mirror. This is your sign to face yourself, not the version you post, not the version you explain, not the version you swear you could become if things were different. The real version, the one built by your habits, the one exposed by pressure, the one that shows up when nobody is watching. Most people spend years trying to escape pain, escape criticism, escape discipline, escape silence, escape the truth. But the truth is this: the more you run from yourself, the heavier your life gets. Because no matter where you go, you take your mind with you. Your excuses go with you. Your fear goes with you. Your weak patterns go with you. And then one day you realize the prison was never outside. The prison was the version of you that kept choosing comfort over growth. So face it. Face the lies you tell yourself when the work gets hard. Face the laziness you keep renaming as exhaustion. Face the inconsistency you keep dressing up as waiting for the right time. Face the fear that keeps making you smaller than your potential. Face the soft part of you that wants a better life but refuses to become a better mind. That is the war. And let's be clear, this war is not glamorous. It is not cinematic. It is not a perfect soundtrack and one heroic moment. It is brutal, repetitive, lonely, and personal. It is waking up when your body begs you not to. It is doing the work when nobody would know if you skipped it. It is staying in the fight when progress is invisible. It is continuing after embarrassment. It is continuing after rejection. It is continuing after failure. It is continuing after your feelings have quit. That is how the mind gets trained, not by hype, by friction. You do not become mentally hard by talking about struggle. You become mentally hard by entering it on purpose, by staying in it long enough to realize it cannot kill your spirit unless you let it, by discovering that the part of you that panics in discomfort is not your master. It is just noise, and that noise will talk. It will bargain. It will beg. It will sound intelligent. It will try to protect you from the very pain that could transform you. It will say, not today. It will say, you need a break. It will say, you've already suffered enough. It will say, this is too much. But if you listen to that voice every time, you train weakness. If you hear it and move anyway, you train power. That is the difference between a life that keeps collapsing and a life that becomes unbreakable. You say you want confidence? Then earn it, not with words, with evidence. Evidence that you can suffer and still function. Evidence that you can be tired and still execute. Evidence that you can be afraid and still move. Evidence that you can get hit, humiliated, doubted, and still return stronger. That kind of confidence cannot be faked. It is built in private. It is built in ugly moments. It is built when your old self is screaming and your new self is taking over one hard decision at a time. And stop thinking you have to win your whole life in one day. You do not have to conquer the whole mountain right now. You have to conquer this moment, this hour, this rep, this decision, this morning, this standard. That is how people become dangerous, not in one giant leap, in 1,000 moments where quitting was available and rejected. So if you are waiting for a sign, this is it. Face yourself. Face the habits ruining your future. Face the mind that negotiates every hard thing. Face the truth you keep delaying. Face the work you know you need to do. No one is coming to build your discipline. No one is coming to carry your standards. No one is coming to drag you into your potential. You have to do it. And if you do, if you keep going when it is ugly, if you tell yourself the truth, if you build proof instead of excuses, if you stop running from pain and start using it, then something changes. You stop admiring strength from a distance. You start becoming it. You stop asking whether you have what it takes. You start proving that you do. You stop being the person who needs motivation. You become the person who moves with or without it. And that is when your life gets real. That is when your mind stops being your weakness and becomes your weapon. That is when facing yourself stops being terrifying and starts becoming freedom. This is your sign to stop hiding, stop negotiating, and stop escaping your own truth. Face yourself completely. Face the habits, the fear, the inconsistency, the weakness, and the excuses. Then rebuild yourself through pain, discipline, honesty, and repeated action. A powerful life begins the moment you stop blaming the world and start confronting the mind that has been holding you back. The person you become after that confrontation is stronger, sharper, calmer, and far more dangerous than the version of you that kept running. What if the biggest reason your life hasn't changed is not your past, your pain, your bad luck, or the people who doubted you, but the fact that you still haven't faced yourself? What if the real battle is not out there, but in the mirror where your habits, your excuses, your fear, and your comfort are quietly building a life you secretly hate? Most people don't need more motivation. They need one honest moment where they stop lying to themselves. Because the truth is brutal. You are either training your mind to endure or training it to escape. Every time you avoid the hard thing, your weakness gets a vote. Every time you move anyway, your future gets stronger. In this video, you're going to confront the voice inside you that keeps negotiating with comfort, and you're going to learn how to build a mind that stops running when life gets ugly. Stay with me, because this might be the moment you finally become impossible to break.